This is the British flag, and I've talked in several other videos about the flags from around the United Kingdom that went into it and inspired it. And I'm sure you'll all be aware that the British flag is consisting of the English flag of St George, the Scottish flag of St Andrew, and the Irish flag of St Patrick's Saltire, coming together to form the Union flag. Now, of course, we have represented on this flag England, Scotland, and Ireland. But some people may be wondering, what about the other part of the United Kingdom? That, of course, being Wales. So in this video, I want to look at why is Wales not represented on the Union flag of the United Kingdom? Well, of course, this video will focus on the history of Wales as an answer to why it isn't focused on the flag. Now, specifically talking about Welsh flags, feel free to check out this video that I did about the old Welsh flag and the history behind Idraig Goch, or the Red Dragon flag, which is of course the famous and beautiful Welsh flag as it stands today. Now, to answer this question, we have to understand how Wales came to be a part of the United Kingdom, and this involved the lengthy process of conquest by the English or really Norman kings of Wales that occurred from the 12th century onwards into the 13th and 14th. The last part of Wales to be conquered by the English was Gwynedd, in the very north of the country of Wales, the Principality as it was then. The last Prince of Wales being killed in 1282, this leading to the English taking control of all of Wales. And despite the fact that they would face many rebellions over the next 100 years, Wales would remain under English control during this time. A watershed moment in Welsh-English relations was in 1485, when King Henry VII was crowned following his victory at Bosworth. Now, Henry's family name was Tudor, and he was the son of Edmund Tudor, who had been a half-brother to one of the previous kings, Henry VI. And the Tudors were actually Welsh in origin, coming from Anglesey, so an island off the coast of North Wales of Gwynedd. So now a Welshman was sat on the English throne. More about him in several videos I did a few years ago, if you're interested in finding more about Henry VII. But what's important is rather what his son did. We can see here, of course, the Welsh dragon as part of his arms, together with the royal banner of England there. But the reign of his son, Henry VIII, is a very important moment because in 1535 he would pass into law with his parliament the Laws in Wales Act. Now, this was seen as very important at the time because it made Welsh people on par with the English and essentially made them English in a legal sense, incorporating Wales into England in terms of its shire system and its legal codes and practices, which had up until that point still been divided. So following this act, and indeed an act that would come around a decade later in Henry's reign again, Wales would become legally a part of England rather than being ruled in a separate way. And this is very important for what we see happening in the following years. Now, in 1603, Elizabeth I, the monarch of England, died without an heir, and she was replaced as the monarch of England by James I of England. Now, he was already James IV of Scotland, and so he became king of not only England, but he was already king of Scotland. So now there was the same man on both thrones. In 1606, they decided that it would be very useful for there to be a joint flag to be flown at sea, and so they incorporated the two flags together onto this design, which is often called the flag of Great Britain as it was then. Now, it's important to note that unlike the Laws in Wales Act, there was no act that joined England and Scotland together. They retained separate parliaments, and James was at once both King of England and King of Scotland. Now, in 1707, that would change with the Act of Union, which officially unified England and Scotland together into the Kingdom of Great Britain. This state of affairs would last until 1801, when the flag would change again to incorporate into it the flag of St Patrick, the Saltire of St Patrick, to represent Ireland. This being because of the creation of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland, when the Kingdom of Ireland was officially unified with the Kingdom of Great Britain. So we then get England, Scotland, and Ireland. The reason being that Wales isn't on any of these flags is because this is the flag of the kingdom, and the acts of law in Wales had actually made Wales a part of England, legally part of the Kingdom of England. And so the kings of England and Scotland, and then the kings of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland, weren't also kings of Wales. Interestingly enough, their successors, so most often the eldest son, would be the Prince of Wales. This going back to the old title of the previous Welsh who had resisted against the English, who were also princes of Wales, of the Principality of Wales, but there weren't kings in Wales. And this important distinction is ultimately why we don't have an addition of the Welsh onto the flag. Now, this has, of course, in recent years been much more debated, as people in Wales possibly rightfully say, well, we want representation on the flag of the United Kingdom. This in 2007 was raised by several Welsh MPs, and a few designs were put forward for rectification. So this one we can see obviously inspired by the Welsh red dragon, to simply place that in the centre of the flag, which is pretty cool if you ask me. Another one here adds in a yellow outline instead of the white outline of St George's flag from the former flag of St David, which of course is the patron saint of Wales. So that might be an idea there as well. There was even some more debate, of course, around the Union flag, because in 2014 Scotland held a referendum for independence, and if Scotland became independent, then most likely the British monarch would no longer be a king or queen over Scotland, one of those parts of the Union that is represented on the flag. And so some people put forward that instead of the blue and white from the St Andrew's cross or the Scottish flag, the saltire, they should instead add in the colours of black and yellow from St David's flag, and so represent Wales. But let me know in the comments below, do you think any of these designs are appropriate to replace the current flag? Does Wales need to be represented, or is the historical reason a good enough reason that it is not represented? And if you are Welsh, do you feel represented by the Union flag? Would you rather see an independent Wales altogether with the beautiful Welsh flag as your official national flag? Or do you think that we should make some changes to the Union flag to incorporate Wales better? If you have any suggestions or ideas as to how you think that should be done, my email address is at the bottom of every video, and I would love to see the designs that you come up with. If you are new to the channel, do consider subscribing. Always nice to have more people on board, and I make quite a few videos about flags of various kinds and from around the world in different periods. If you're interested, check out some of the other videos on Henry VII and the other Tudors, and some things about the Welsh too if you're interested. And until next time, I have been Hilbert, and this has been The History.